I'll give you an example of how this pivoted because it's also kind of a unique discussion that I don't know that we've covered here on the call. It actually hits pretty close to your world, CJ, which is executive benefits. So we
Yes, I
we
was
got
going
in
to cover
front of
that. So yes, I'm glad you're getting into it.
we we got in front of a major law firm. I'll leave the name out of it.
Yep.
One of the big ones. You'd certainly recognize the name. And we got brought in to show off some of our, fancy widgets, if you will, some of our premium finance toys, some of our
Sure.
private placement life insurance operations. And what we found there was those guys were in pretty good shape. They do this for a living.
Yeah.
So they knew what they were doing. They were open to the review based on the relationship. And we came back to them and said, hey, this looks pretty good. You may want to tweak some things in the language of this trust, and you may want to cross a T here or there, but I wouldn't change anything. The life insurance is very competitive. Unless you guys want to add leverage to this, I would keep where you're at. And they said, okay, that's great. I said, do you mind if I ask a couple more questions? Yep. So, I saw this thing on your balance sheet here. It looks like you have a pension from the law firm itself. Yeah. Is that available for everybody there? I'd like to come work for you. No, I'm joking. Is that available for everybody there? He said, no, it's just for the managing equity partner. So there's about 2,900 or so people in the firm, and there's about, call it 600 managing equity partners.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, that's really cool. Can you tell me more about that? Yep, we've got cash balance plans. We've got profit sharing plans. They've got all the goodies. Perfect. Just making sure you had everything there. I said, what are you guys doing to retain your top executives currently? And he said, that's really interesting, Dan. We just had a board meeting with the 600 managing equity partners. And do you know who the most valuable people are in the company? The 600 managing equity partners. And he said, we decided unanimously that we should take care of each other.
Yeah.
I said, good. How are you planning to do that? Well, we're just thinking of like some deferred comp options for the company. I said, well, that can become very complex very quickly. There's ERISA rules that state, hey, CJ, if you and I own a company and we want to stick a bunch of money away on our behalves, we need to put a pro rata portion away for the other employees, which depending on how large the company is, in this case, that's another 2,000 plus employees we got to take care of. Ooh, that ruins things.
Yeah.
Well, life insurance has this unique feature that allows us to walk around these ERISA rules and do so in what's known as a discriminatory basis, meaning I can hand select the partners from this plan. So we're helping them walk through a solution whereby we put life insurance in place for the 600 managing partners. Some will be financed, some will be non-financed. And simultaneously, the firm is going to put in a vesting schedule, effectively what we call a golden handcuff plan.
Yep.
Whereby it would say, hey, CJ, you're one of the managing equity partners. We cannot afford to lose CJ down in Alabama. He's holding it down there. We're gonna gift you a life insurance policy. Now there's strings attached. If you leave in the first 3 years, you get nothing.
Yep.
You stay with us for 5 years or more, you get half. You stay with us for the next decade, you get the whole thing. And so for each of these managing partners, that may mean $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 of tax-free income into their retirement. We've executed this in the past with larger organizations like this, and what we have found, no one leaves.
Yeah, I mean, because those are big numbers we're talking about, right? And as we discussed, like even in that buy sell, it's not just a death benefit. Like it's not just available to them. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm making sure I get this right. But it's not just one of those things where their family benefits if something happens. It's something where, hey, they're done. They're retiring or something along those lines. And there's value that's still being added, not just a death benefit.
How about the value to the corporation, not only the employee retention, but guess what, CJ? Out of 600 people, a couple people are going to die. And when that happens, depending on where they are in the vesting schedule, in order to get a couple $100,000 a year to each partner, I got to buy a couple $1 million worth of death benefit. So let's say I'm 5 years in and I was supposed to get 200 grand a year for 10 years. That's $2 million. And the death benefit's 5. Well, 5 minus 2 is what the corporation keeps. Yeah. They now add that to their slush fund, overhead, do whatever they want to, cash flow expenditures. That's a really big deal. It's self-completing.
Yeah.
So again, a nice way to add value. It wasn't in the manner that we had hoped to add initially, but in having a deeper dive questions around clients and just trying to figure out, hey, what keeps you up at night, right? What problems are you facing?